This movie, I mean, it's a contender for best film of the year, in my opinion, for my sakes. And it's probably one of the best horror films I've seen in the last decade.
Well, I didn't know we were just lying today. Talk to Me starts off with a man, Cole, looking for his brother, Duckett, at some kind of party. Eventually, he's told that Duckett locked himself in a room, and Cole has to break down the door to get to him. Duckett's back is covered in wounds, and while Cole is trying to get him home, Duckett is asking if Cole can see them. Duckett then says that their dad told him Cole is going to hurt a lot of people, and Cole reminds him that their dad has been dead for some time. Duckett then looks to Cole as they're walking out of the room and says, "You aren't him." The entire party kind of stops to observe Duckett, people wondering if he's on something, as Cole is trying to get people to stop recording them. Duckett grabs a knife while Cole is doing this, stabbing him in the shoulder before stabbing himself through the forehead, it looks like. That was a really suspenseful sequence, and I hope it's meaningful to the story. We then cut to a funeral where our protagonist Mia is listening to some recording. A man startles her, apologizing, but she says that she just needs a moment. She then goes to talk with her aunt, where they allude to who the funeral is for, but don't really say. She's then back home with her dad in this awkward scene where Mia is clearly trying to do something at the sink, and her dad is trying to start a conversation. Mia's responses really just indicate that she doesn't want to be there engaging with the conversation. She keeps turning the faucet on and needing to turn it off again to hear her dad. Mia then gets a call from someone asking for a ride as we cut to that other person who was on the phone. Riley was the other person on the phone, waiting with his friend somewhere at a skate park to be picked up. His friend is ragging on someone else's Snapchats, and when Riley says the guy looks elvish, his friend tells him to shut up. Riley's friend apparently deals cigarettes, and they contemplate if you get cancer straight away from them. Riley says not to smoke it. His friend says don't tell me what to do, and lights it. Riley isn't interested in smoking it, saying he doesn't like the smell, and his friend calls him a fucking fetus. Mia then pulls up soon after to get Riley, and Riley makes his friend hide the cigarette until he leaves. There's then a painful, cringe singing session in the car that I loathe to no end, before they stop in the middle of the road to look at a dying kangaroo. Riley wants to call a vet, but Mia says there's nothing they could do for it now. Then they agree the least they could do for it is put it out of its misery, but Mia stops the car before hitting it. She clearly forgot that this was an R-rated movie, and she could definitely wood chipper anything alive on the screen if she felt like it. They drive around the kangaroo in the end, Mia saying another car will come, and Riley trying to get her to go back for it, saying that it's crying. We then get to Riley's house, where Mia goes to talk to his sister Jade. Riley says he's gonna tell their mom about Jade forgetting about him, and Mia tells Jade about the dying kangaroo. Mia lies here, saying that she wanted to put it out of its misery when Riley initially said they should, and Jade is texting on her phone and pretty dismissive of this event. Jade then gets a phone call from her boyfriend Daniel, and Mia doesn't want her to answer it. Here, she uses the kangaroo they left on the road as justification for why she needs consoling right now. This is said in a joking fashion, but I still hate her for doing this. Then the topic is immediately deflected by Mia as Jade hangs up the phone saying she'll call Daniel back soon. Mia brings up a group chat that Jade had added her to, I guess, showing off someone acting weird in a recording, saying she wants to go tonight to see if that's real. Jade isn't really interested. Mia then says today was the 2nd anniversary of her mom's death, which is presumably what the funeral thing going on at the beginning was about. Mia then says she wants Daniel to show her Gucci some attention. Jade says he isn't going to do that, and Mia reminds her that Daniel was her boyfriend before Jade's. Jade says their relationship wasn't even that deep, and Mia guilt trips Jade by saying today was her mom's Remembrance Day. Jade is gonna bring Daniel to the party thing, and Mia is fine with it, only if he touches her Gucci. I absolutely hate it here. Daniel then calls Jade again, Even though Jade was meant to call him back, Daniel is either a psychic that is trying to save Jade from this torturous bit of Gucci grabbing, or is impatient. Mia agrees to give Jade 5 minutes, saying she's going to babysit Riley, who she sarcastically says is the better sibling. Jade tells her not to talk about her Gucci with Riley, and Mia says he's gotta learn. The boy has gotta learn. This scene is full of jokes, and it's mostly about teens and their Guccis. How creative and funny. Mia is then watching Riley work on something when their mom comes home. She pretends to be Riley, asking if he could help with anything, before Mia goes over to the kitchen to talk with Sue, the mom. Sue says she couldn't get away from work to be at the Remembrance event, and wants to know about Mia's dad. Mia then says she hates being around her dad because he's so depressing. How kind of her. And she says she's a bad person, which is correct, asking if Sue can fix her. Sue says that Mia isn't broken, because she likes lying to Mia. She then hands Mia a tissue because she sneezes, like she did earlier at the sink with her dad, and tells Riley to get his shit off the table. She's then a little more forceful when asking if Riley even heard her, and he says yes, he's coming to help her. Later on, when Sue is getting ready to go to sleep, Jade comes into the bathroom to ask her if that's what she's doing. Sue wants to know if Jade is sneaking out, and Jade follows up with, "Why do you always think I'm sneaking out or I'm sleeping around?" Sue says that Jade only comes to ask about this when she is, in fact, sneaking out. She then wants to know if Jade is going to see Daniel. Jade says if she even was going to, which she is, Daniel is an ultra-Christian and doesn't do anything ever. Sue then says, "He still has a dick, Jade." This is the moment where you realize Australia isn't real, and thus this is actually happening in the UK, and Sue is not actually Jade's mom, but an estranged cousin. If only. Sue then assumes Jade is going to sneak out, and Jade says that she won't. Mia and Jade make their way out front, where Riley is waiting for them. Jade wants to know what he's doing, and Riley says Mia said he could go. The person with no blood relation to him, technically not responsible for his well-being if they go somewhere, said he could go. Right. Either way, he ends up going because he blackmails his sister with telling their mom about him not getting picked up by Jade. Mia then shows another video of someone acting weird, and Jade says it has to be faked. Mia, ignoring a call from her dad, says why would they even do that? Jade says Haley is an attention whore. By getting everyone to talk about them, everyone is going to go to the party. Mia apologizes for ruining Jade's phone date, but Jade rightfully does not accept it. Mia, making fun of how attracted they are, says Jade will be pregnant by this month. Jade says that Daniel and her haven't even kissed, and Mia says that's strange since they've been going out for 3 months already, because all relationships run the same schedule and same program, obviously. Riley says that he's even kissed someone, and Jade makes fun of him for kissing that girl with the horse mouth named Jazzy. There is then another reminder why rap music is dying, as a track plays to them entering the party.
They blaming one for all of the drillings. They blaming us for what happened in Sydney. They blaming us for what happened in Melbourne. They blaming us for what happened in Brisbane.
They're an hour late to the party, as someone remarks, and they also make a note that they'll have to babysit Riley. Mia then walks in as a person, then says, "Fuck me." I don't know what you're supposed to get from that interaction, but take from it what you will. There's then a couple cuts of Mia not understanding what social interactions are, and this is clearly not being helped by her bright yellow Big Bird cosplay. She tries to talk to someone first, and it goes wrong, I guess. She says what's up, the girl says just chillin', and goes back to talking with her friends as Mia turns around awkwardly. Mia then compliments the owner of the house, Joss, and he's too glued to his phone to really have a conversation with her. In the next clip, she takes a shot, and then the last one is her resting her head against the aquarium. Jade comes to check on her, and Mia says that she's acting weird, and she is. Jade, being a good friend, lies to her, saying that she just needs to loosen up. So they both start shaking their bodies and making noises, as you do to loosen up, as Daniel shows up to hug Jade. Mia, clearly having zero tact because she has 0 brain cells, hugs both of them while saying out loud, "Hi, ex-boyfriend." Jade goes to get a drink with the guy who was heckling them as they walked in, while Daniel, being a real trooper, talks with Mia. Riley is then talking with Daniel, and Daniel is giving him a confidence boost, while the guy talking to Jade wants to know why Mia had to come. This guy is apparently Haley. Haley has a back and forth with Jade, saying that Mia is irritating the fuck out of him, even though Jade says she hasn't really done anything to him. Haley then says that Mia is so clingy it's depressing, and tells Jade that Mia is flirting with Daniel. Jade ignores it, saying that they're friends, and Haley calls bullshit. Haley then is ready to do whatever is getting posted in these videos Mia was watching, and Jade mocks him by saying he should fake another video. Joss brings a chair, insinuating that they're gonna have Riley do whatever it is they're setting up, and Jade says he's not doing anything. Haley and Joss are arguing about who will use the hand first, since Duckett gave it to Haley, but they're at Joss's house. Mia volunteers to do it first, and as Joss is strapping her to a chair, Riley, who I guess hasn't seen any of the videos Mia watches, has some questions. I mean, she fawns over them to Jade. You would figure she would at least be looking at them around Riley, and he would then figure out what's going on. Regardless, Riley wants to know what's happening, but Jade is still convinced this is a trick, and Haley is messing with everyone. Haley wants someone else to time this because after she lets it in, this cannot go for more than 90 seconds. You should probably be the one timing it. It's your party trick after all. Mia then wants to know what happens if they go over that time, and Haley says they'll want to stay. But not if they stay for 60 seconds. Only the coveted powerful 90 for some reason. The implication here is that the hand is going to allow a spirit to take over Mia's body and do what it likes for however long it's there, hence the strapping to the chair. Joss also says if you die while they're in you, they have you forever. Mia laughs at him while he just says he's relaying what's been told to him as he tightens the strap on Mia enough to hurt her. Haley sets a candle on the table, saying that lighting the candle opens the door and putting it out will close it. As Haley tells Mia to grab the totally not styrofoam prop covered in Sharpie writings, almost everyone pulls out their phones to record her. She obviously grabs the hand wrong because how else do you hold a hand reaching out to you than by placing your hand on top of it? As she says "talk to me" jokingly, she looks in front of her to see an older, disheveled man. She releases the hand in panic and everyone laughs at her. While freaking out, she wants to know who she saw, but Haley tells her it's random every time. Sure. Jade doesn't believe her, because you never believe your friends, obviously, so Mia has to do it again, and do it right to prove it. Everyone is egging her on until she grabs it again, and this time when she says "talk to me," there's someone who looks like they were drowned. They make gurgling noises while Mia looks away, and Haley says she doesn't have to look at it, just not let go of the hand. Mia finally says, "I let you in," which allows the drowned spirit ghost thing to control her body. Her pupils dilate to fill her irises because I guess while you're possessed they're pitch black. They start timing it now as Haley has to snap his hand in front of the possessed Mia to get her attention. I guess the drowned human adapted quickly to this? I don't know. It just felt odd it didn't need more time to gain control and get comfortable. Because unlike the old man, this spirit seems to have had a horrible death. they also retain however they look at their worst, I guess? Which means good on that old guy for just dying from being old or in his sleep or something relatively tame in comparison to drowning. Clearly, the drowned human had something torturous and painful happen to them. And their minds are questionable, I guess, because as the spirit thing comes to understand what's happening, it starts laughing maniacally. It then points at a door, having possessed Mia speak in a strange, gravelly way, saying, "There he is." She looks at Riley saying, "They like him." And at this point, I'm hoping it has nothing to do with Gucci's or the fact that he's the youngest person. And when Daniel says something to possessed Mia, she barks at him. And while Joss is totally content with quipping here, getting everyone else to laugh at that, how does Jade think these are fake again? Because that was like a dog bark coming out of possessed Mia. Not an obvious imitation thing like woof, like a full-on dog bark. Moving on, for now, possessed Mia starts gasping like she's drowning, as water noises are audible to everyone there. Maybe? The closed captions say water splashes, but we don't see any. Well, while that's happening, a door opens and slams shut. Everyone is cheering and celebrating while Jade is clearly confused and scared. The only reasonable response, so good on you, Jade. Possessed Mia says that he is behind Riley now, and it's gonna split him. But if I understand the rules right, for the spirit things to even have an impact on our world, they need to possess someone? Because this spirit wasn't like telling Riley this stuff through his dreams or anything. It's the first he's hearing of it. And it is reasonably freaking him and Jade out. At this point, we're about to hit the time limit, which Haley wanted someone else to keep track of, but is doing it anyways. Joss goes to get the hand off Mia, but he can't. Possessed Mia, I guess, is now turbo strong. Now she just keeps telling Riley to run, getting crazier as she says it. The lights start flickering, her voice is becoming less of hers and more of the spirit thing, I presume, as Riley starts understandably tearing up while Jade watches. A lot of watching in this movie. And 3 people finally get the hand off Mia, and someone else blows out the candle. Mia recovers a bit, and everyone is concerned since they went over 90 seconds, I think. Mia eventually says that it was amazing. I don't like this. In fact, I despise it, but we'll cover that later. Haley says that was the best one yet. I also despise that, but we'll get more context for why later. We now cut to Mia resting on a couch at Jade's house, while a thunderstorm is going on outside. Riley wants to sleep in Jade's room, but she basically tells him he's not a kid anymore and to fuck off. How caring of her. I mean, she at least seemed to care at the party, but back home it's survival of the fittest. She calls him a sook, which is slang for coward, I think, since he didn't close her door as he shuffled around the house. I mean, she basically told him to kick rocks. I think you're obligated by the rules of hatred to slam your own door to make sure everyone knows that you're a dickhead. Riley ends up in the living room with Mia and hangs out with her. I don't really believe he would be comfortable with that after the party, but okay. Riley admits the hand event scared him a bit, and Mia tells him about her reoccurring nightmares since Riley doesn't get those. It's about her looking in a mirror, but her reflection isn't there because it's like she doesn't exist. A little tame for a nightmare, but you get scared of what scares you, I suppose. Riley then wants to know what the hand felt like. Mia describes it as amazing, like she was glowing, which is not a helpful description. She continues saying that she could feel and hear everything, but wasn't in control, and it was incredible. Riley then wants to know how her mom died. Mia's mom overdosed on sleeping pills while her dad was sleeping on the couch. When he woke up, he couldn't get into the bedroom because Mia's mom was laying against it. Mia believes that she wanted to get help since there were scratches against the door. Riley then asks about Mia's depression, and Mia says it was because she felt alone. Riley says she can't feel that way because Mia has Jade and him here, and she responds by saying she doesn't feel that way anymore. Riley falls asleep watching some game show thing on his phone, and Mia puts his headphones and phone away. After she does that, a different gross hand rubs his cheek, and we cut to a school. He's either a very heavy sleeper, or the spirit things can affect our world without possessing someone. It's unclear right now, so I hope they clear it up eventually. You know, something super important like the rules of spirit creatures in this movie. School is just ending, I guess, as Jade and Mia approach Haley sitting on the back of a car smoking. Daniel wants a turn with the hand, so Jade is trying to set up some party meet thing for that. Joss's house is trashed, I guess from the rest of the party earlier, and Jade says they can go to hers then. Haley has a party at 11. I don't know why Daniel can't try the hand thing at that party. And Sue leaves at 9 for work, so they basically have 1 hour to do this. Well, they could have longer, but Haley is showing up at 10. To be an asshole, I guess. Mia is the most excited about it, which I still hate, and we cut to Daniel knocking on a door to have Sue slam it in his face. Australia is not real and is full of dickheads is all I'm gathering from this movie. Sue goes to Jade's room where she suspects that a party is going to happen, but Jade says it's just 2 friends. Sue then goes back to the front door to continue being a dickhead to Daniel, wanting to know when everyone is showing up, telling him not to bullshit her, and asking if he has alcohol in his car. Props to Daniel for not getting upset and also feigning ignorance. He says he doesn't drink and Sue just says, "You're good." I guess this is supposed to tell us she knows what's happening, even though Daniel's responses seem relatively normal and unsuspicious. She then lets Daniel in to go ask Riley about it. Sue is trying to bait him into talking about it, saying Jade told her already, she just wants to know when it's happening, but Riley doesn't say anything about it and is a little annoyed at her insistence. Sue then says, "You're not drinking tonight, on God. I will punch you in the face." Why? James is also here, the kid from the skate park who called Riley a fucking fetus, for some reason. He says if there is a party, he is definitely drinking. If Sue really does expect some type of party, she should probably make James go home at this point, since he's admitted to doing something which I assume is illegal for his age, but she just quips about the room smelling because of the dog Cookie, or James, and leaves. She continues her crusade, going back to Jade's room, saying Mia is banned from the house if there is a party. She then comments about Mia third-wheeling all night, and says she better not get stoned again. She corrects Sue, saying she tried weed 1 time before telling Daniel her daughter's vagina is prohibited. Jade is reasonably upset, because parents don't talk like that normally ever. Being crass is considered immature behavior typically. Sue says the neighbors tell her everything before walking away. We then cut to a basement area, I guess. It doesn't really look like the rest of the house, but I presume it's somehow connected to it or is on their property. Everyone is setting stuff up as Riley shows up. Mia is asking him if he's gonna do the hand thing, and Jade is scolding Haley for smoking inside. He puts it out by pinching it and flicking it off somewhere in the room. Like most things that happen in the movie, that will be forgotten about, and not cause a lasting problem ever. Mia is asking about the hand origins, so we can get another info dump like when she was hanging out with Riley earlier. Joss just says it's a medium's hand that was cut off and embalmed. The ceramic shell just covers all that up. He then says everyone around him knew he could talk to the dead, so they cut off the medium's hand to use it, I guess. Also, he remarks that that's some white people shit, which would be a funny joke if Joss wasn't doing the white people shit alongside our protagonist Mia, both of whom are black. Now that we've established that Joss and Mia are mixed and not 100% black, Haley says that he heard it was the hand of a Satanist and the other one is just around somewhere. Joss is strapping Daniel to the chair when he wants to know where Joss bought it. He says a friend gave it to a friend and he ended up getting it. Jumping forward a bit, when Daniel gets possessed, he begins choking, and Jade wants to stop it. Haley tells her to give it a second before the spirit thingy fully takes control. Possessed Daniel tells Jade that Daniel hates it when she touches him, that it makes him soft.
Could we get anything in the movie that doesn't have to do with teenagers and their Gucci's and softness? Please!
Possessed Daniel stares at Mia while breathing heavily. Mia snickers while Jade and Joss are uncomfortable. Possessed Daniel's voice changes, so again, I don't know why Jade would ever think this has ever been faked. As he begins feeling himself up, and then he falls over and is dry humping the ground.
I hate it here! I can't believe people like this shit!
The dog Cookie waddles over, and possessed Daniel starts making out with it before they can get the hand off him. He really wants Haley to delete the recording, as anyone would. I can't believe so many people are okay with Haley recording their experiences and uploading it. Daniel storms out as Jade is kind of upset with everyone. Joss says that was pretty heavy, but he still wants to know if Jade will do it. Unreasonably, Mia offers to go with the condition of no dog and no cameras. There's a montage of Joss, Haley, and Mia doing the hand over and over again, as Jade is somehow convinced Daniel to come back. While I don't particularly like that they came back, considering Daniel was just humiliated with basically no sympathy from anyone, the most notable thing that happens is a French spirit thing takes over Mia at some point and sings, meaning not only is it random what spirit you get, maybe it isn't dependent on where you are, just something to keep in mind, I guess. Eventually, Daniel does the hand again in the montage. He shouldn't, but fine. And then James wants to have a shot of alcohol. Jade says no. Riley wants her to let it go, but Jade says he isn't even 15. Mia then says Riley could do the hand thing for 60 seconds, and Jade doesn't have to be a bitch about all things Riley. Riley then reveals that being a dickhead runs in the family, getting upset with Jade because she's just trying to get in Daniel's pants and doesn't care about anything else. Jade doesn't even know why he wants to do it, since last time he came to her room crying and scared about it. Riley hates her, and Jade is in the same ballpark pretty much here. Haley says he can't help it if Riley's sister is just boring. Jade storms off, and Daniel chases after her. Joss and Haley are getting ready to go, while Riley is trying to convince Mia to let him do it, which doesn't really make sense here, but okay. Mia says it's probably not a good idea, and Riley is upset that she isn't agreeing with him. Mia claims to agree with both of them, but Riley doesn't believe her, begging her to let him do it. Haley and Joss go along with this, even though someone related to Riley should trump whatever a family friend is saying now, and James immediately pulls out his phone to record it. Riley is upset seeing whatever spirit thing is sitting in front of him before he lets it in. Riley just happens to get possessed by Mia's mom, who is very remorseful for what happened. Possessed Riley gets the mom's voice, I presume? And even though it's been 50 seconds, Mia doesn't want to close it off yet, which is understandable, but also lucky as fuck. Mia's mom has some type of breakdown or something, and they make a point of Mia holding both the hand thing and Riley's hand on it. I think you're supposed to assume that this fucks up the connection somehow. Another thing that is hopefully explained later. Possessed Riley eventually recovers, inhaling raspily, before smashing his head on the table. Mia backs away, and everyone just watches him do that. Mia finally steps in when possessed Riley is trying to take out his own eye, and Joss tries to get the hand off him. The chair then flies away, breaking a window while Riley still has the hand. Possessed Riley begins smashing his head on a nearby dresser, while everyone watches. Again. Jade, who's come back into the room at this point, eventually goes to stop him as he's winding up for a fatal smash. She gets her hand in the way, probably breaking it, as possessed Riley falls over. Jade screams for someone to help her, and Joss starts getting Riley free. Mia is just watching everything. As everyone is trying to help in some way, Haley is saying they should put him on the couch, Daniel is calling an ambulance, and Jade and Joss are holding him still and getting the hand off him. I presume, because if he was still possessed, they probably couldn't get him help at all. Regardless, Joss eventually is holding him on his side, and Jade is probably trying to figure out what happened. She only returned to the room after Riley began banging his head and slid over to the wall, breaking a window. James gets the bag, and they put the hand and everything else away with it. Mia, the absolute bastard of a human, just walks out while breathing heavily. Not saying anything to her friend, apologizing, checking on Riley. Nope, just goes into shock and walks out slowly. Haley, bastard too, wants to leave, but Joss says they can't. Apparently they were involved in the Ducket event somehow, because the police are suspicious of them and Haley believes they'll pin it on them. Joss says as long as they get a story and all stick to it, they'll be fine. Mia then goes upstairs, continuing to be a bastard, as she hears scratching at a door. She sees a blurry figure who I assume is her mom before it disappears, and she goes to wash her hands. She does that for as long as it takes for police to show up, who don't really check up on her or have her stop washing her hands of the possible bloody evidence that they're covered in. The cop just says we need to talk now. Honestly, the cop should have her do more than just talk, but whatever. Jade then calls her mom, telling her Riley's going to a hospital. Sue wants to know what happened, and Jade says he smashed his face really bad. Sue wants to know how he did that, but Jade says that she wasn't even in the room. Sue gets frustrated now, and telling her to stop crying and explain everything. Jade apologizes, and Sue says she needs to answer her. I guess people would react differently to this, but even if you think your daughter lies to you about sneaking out or having parties sometimes, I don't know if you can believe she would do the same in this super serious situation. And even if she did tell her the truth, I don't think Sue would believe in the hand connecting people to the spirit things anyways. Mia finally goes back to her house now, and her dad wants to talk about what happened. Mia just wants to go to sleep and promises they didn't give Riley anything. She doesn't tell him anything beyond that, and he wishes that she would just be honest. Which is something good people do, not rat bastards like Mia. But she says sarcastically that he's been so honest with her. She believes that there's something about her mom's death that her dad won't talk about. He doesn't respond, which might as well have told her she's right, as she goes back to her room. She has the bag with the hand and everything now, somehow. Like the police didn't search anything they would have found with the kids in case it had drugs or something that they had been using. And Mia gets an Uber to go to a hospital. I don't understand how her dad lets her go at this point. Someone his daughter knows has been hospitalized and nobody really knows what's happening from his perspective. She's just allowed to leave for the sake of the story, I guess. At the hospital, Jade and Sue are sitting at Riley's bed, who looks like he's barely hanging on. Daniel comes to get Jade to talk to Mia in the hallway. Mia wants to know if he's okay, which she should have called someone about. There is no shot anyone wants you around here after you basically almost killed someone. Even worse, they were your friend, and their sister had already said they couldn't do that thing that almost killed them. It's shocking that Jade is even as chill here as she is, just saying she doesn't want her here right now. Mia thinks it's unfair, which it isn't, and walks over to the room window to look at Riley. Sue sees her, walking out to confront her. Sue basically says that Riley's in bad shape, and is pressing Mia to know what she gave him. Mia swears she didn't give him anything, which while technically true is a shitty thing to say. Even if you can't tell her about the spirit thing, at least own that this is your fault. Sue wants to know what Riley ever did to her, and Mia says that she didn't hurt him. Again, technically true, but you might as well have told Riley to cross the highway blindfolded against Jade's wishes. Joss and Haley definitely shouldn't have let him do it, considering Jade had said no, but Mia apparently was the only thing holding him back when Jade left the room. So her approval of the situation basically caused his injuries. Mia just wants to see him, but Sue says if she sees Mia again, she's calling the cops. Which I think is still pretty tame, but another thing to discuss later. Jade tells her to go home, even though Mia tries to apologize to her. She walks over to another room's window, looking at a person before she hears her mom calling for her. Mia then follows the direction of the spirit mom's reflection in a window, ending up at a bathroom. One of the stall doors slams shut. There's some scratching on it, and the lights begin to flicker. Mia hears her mom calling for her, and when she finally gets into the stall, it's empty. She walks out, seeing Daniel leaving Riley's room. She tries to get away, I think, by going down into a stairwell and sobbing. Daniel follows her, asking what's wrong, before we cut to Daniel driving Mia somewhere. Daniel's parents haven't been called since he's 18, and he can't go home since they'll know something is wrong. Mia says he could stay at her place, forgetting about her dad, I guess. Or the idea is he's gone somewhere? And Daniel doesn't want to since he's with Jade, and that would make things weird. Mia very clearly wants him to stay, saying it's not illegal, that they're just friends, and she doesn't want to be alone. And Mia successfully guilt trips another person, because Daniel finally gives in. We're now at Mia's room, so her dad wasn't there? Or just didn't notice Mia coming back or leaving in the first place? Whatever. Mia believes that she spoke to her mom at first, while Daniel doesn't believe it was her at all. Mia's evidence for this is because her mom called her me all the time, and the spirits couldn't know that. Which is not very good evidence, since we still don't know the rules about these spirit things. Daniel believes once they enter you, they could know everything about you, so there's no real proof that it even was Mia's mom. Mia still, rather naively at this point, believes her mom was reaching out to her, which is not the rules of the hand. The rules are the spirit thingies are chosen at random. So fuck you, Mia, you just got turbo lucky. Mia, being a dumbass, wants to check by doing it again, which again, is not how this works. Daniel swears off it and changes the topic by reminiscing about when they were dating. Mia, proving that Jade's dickhead attitude is rubbing off on her, remembers making fun of Daniel when they held hands because his hands are smaller than hers. They check again to see if it's still true, and it looks like their hands are the same, but Mia is still a dickhead and says he has the tiniest hands. The fuck? We cut back to the hospital, Sue smoking in her car as Jade approaches. Jade reaches for her hand, but Sue pulls away. While I understand that Sue is upset, I don't think this is fair. They should both just hate Mia here, since it's mostly her fault. But whatever. We go back to Mia and Daniel sharing a bed. I assume, like most things, this will not come up later. Mia is watching videos that she has of her with Jade and Riley, and her mom. She lays there a while before she touches Daniel's leg, which was an important thing to show us, I guess. Before, in her dream, she starts making out with him. Fucking... okay. She hears a lot of banging on a door as she goes to hug Daniel and sees her dad pulling her mom from a bedroom, presumably dead. She stares at them a moment before she looks at her hands, which look like they've been scratching on something. Her nails were broken with bloody fingertips. This wakes her up, and I guess no time has passed. It's still dark, like when she went to sleep. Then she sees a spirit thing in the room that looks like a tortured woman. Anyways, from Mia's perspective, she jumps out of the bed, telling Daniel he needs to wake up as the spirit thing is sucking on his feet. Daniel's view is that Mia's eyes are rolled back into her skull and she is the one sucking on his feet. I feel like this was done purely because it was someone's fetish. Because it would be much more threatening and confusing for Daniel if the spirit or Mia was trying to kiss him. Mia apparently has no recollection of doing this, because she believes the spirit followed them here, after they contacted it. Where did they contact it exactly? From the party earlier, maybe? Daniel, finally realizing this was a bad idea, and Mia does nothing but guilt trip her friends, leaves. Mia has a small breakdown before she decides to do the hand thing alone, which works how exactly? Because from what we've been shown, the spirit things take your body once you let them in, and it doesn't seem keen on letting go of it. Maybe she just doesn't let them in here and just talks with them, because she's asking her mom to talk to her, and her mom shows up. She wants to know if she killed herself, and her mom says not on purpose, which also doesn't make sense, but we'll save it for later. Her mom tells her that Riley needs help, and then holds her while she sleeps. So I guess the spirit things can mess with reality without a body? They also make a point in this scene to keep having this bubbling noise play in the back. It gets mentioned a few times by the closed captions, which means what exactly? A drowned spirit is pretending to be her mom? Her mom didn't OD on pills but actually drowned? But we also use this bubbling noise to transition to Jade and Sue wringing out washcloths for Riley? Whatever. Fuck you, non-committal movie. Sue gets a call from her ex-husband, which she says is unbelievable. Even though his son is in the hospital for as far as anyone who wasn't at the party can tell, no reason. Anyways, as Jade is giving him a towel bath on her own, Riley crunches into her hand before Jade gets away and he falls on the floor. She's then calling for Sue, who went a ridiculous distance away for that phone call, I guess, as Riley is bashing his head against the wall so hard the tile cracks. As Riley is slurping up his blood and juices, Sue finally gets here and calls for a nurse while Riley seizes. We're back at Joss's house, which is no longer trashed, and Haley and Joss are just now finding out that Mia took the hand and didn't tell anyone. Wasn't this bag that the mystical hand was in Haley's or Joss's? Did they just hide the fucking thing in that room and hope the police didn't look around at all? Apparently, someone showed the police the video, so the cat should be out of the bag right now. Everyone should know about the hand of spirit talking. Even if Sue or the police don't believe it, they should know about it now, which means you just have to get them to do the dumb hand thing to see it's all real. James apparently showed the police the video, and all the police had to say is there's nothing they can do about a kid hitting themselves. Fuck you, movie. There is no shot James didn't try to explain the hand thing, so they would have had a reason to search everyone at the party, including the room it was in, and find the hand before Mia, unless she has 100 points in sleight of hand. Man. Apparently, they went over 90 seconds with Riley, and something like that has never lasted this long. So it has nothing to do with Mia grabbing the hand or the other spirit things liking Riley in particular. It's just that they went over the time limit, which we have no idea how it came to be 90 seconds, by the way. It just is. It doesn't seem like Riley's in a position to tell them, so they must have just had hundreds of people use the hand and die before they figured that out. Oh, and so Mia is fucked up too. We just have to guess if what she's seeing is real or not, because she isn't as fucked as Riley. Mia, best friend and human in the whole wide universe, is basically tuning everything out though, sitting at a table solo because her Big Bird cosplay needs space to breathe, and only comes back into the conversation to ask how Riley is doing. Riley is apparently trying to die every time he's conscious now, and Joss says the spirit things want to keep him. They keep Riley if he dies while they possess him. Mia, obviously suddenly being a caring good friend, says that she's been seeing stuff like her mom at the hospital. And even though she doesn't really understand what happened with Daniel, she claims another one attacked her at her house. Daniel tells everyone Mia was actually sucking on his foot, not the spirit thing. Jade is reasonably upset because Daniel said he woke up to Mia sucking on his foot, and his excuse is he couldn't go home because he didn't even bother asking his girlfriend if he could stay with her. Joss eventually brings it back on topic, saying none of them have been seeing anything, just Mia. It's here we learn about the spirit things imitating others from Haley, who heard it from Duckett. Duckett apparently gave Joss the hand after they met at a few parties. So not even a friend or something? You just gave it randomly to a person you met at a party, presumably your friends are showing up at as well, so they can maybe infect everyone irresponsibly with spiritism? Duckett was apparently also seeing them without the hand like Mia. Mia wants to talk to the brother Cole, so they meet him that night at a bus stop. Apparently, Joss and Haley were also shit humans to Duckett. Cole says that they pretended to care, inviting him to parties and everything. Apparently, Duckett's repeated use of the hand was fucking him up, which led to that scene at the beginning. So you can also just get fucked up by using the hand too much? Anyways, they claim they did care about Duckett, but Cole doesn't believe them. They want Cole's help anyway, but he tells them to kick rocks. Mia and everyone else gets on the bus after Cole anyhow. Mia, the master guilt tripper, says she knows how it feels to lose someone. That's it. There's no sympathy about Cole losing Duckett, nothing about how they can stop the same pain from hurting her friend Jade. Nothing. And then Cole decides to talk to her anyways.
I hate it here!
Cole says the people Duckett let in fucked with his mind. Jade says her kid brother is in the hospital, and everyone has forgiven Mia for that, I guess, because nobody says anything when Cole wants to know why they let a kid do it. Apparently, according to Cole, his body will kick them out eventually because they weaken with time. Jade says they're killing him, they don't have much more time, while Cole tells Joss to stop fucking with people's lives. The bus finally stops, and everyone chases after Jade, who is closely followed by Mia. Finally, Jade says Mia shouldn't have let him do it, which is way nicer than Mia deserves for what she did. Mia says they all decided it would be okay. Technically true, but Haley says that Mia decided that, which is also technically true. This unfortunately bypasses the fact that Haley and Joss had to hook him up to everything to do the hand after Mia decided Riley could do it. If they didn't like it, they could have not hooked him up, but they did. Riley apparently did it for 2 minutes, 30 seconds longer than the limit. Jade then accuses her of sleeping with Daniel, who says it wasn't like that. And now Jade is upset with Daniel for always taking Mia's side. So I guess fuck Daniel for cucking out for Mia so much. Someone who he broke up with, he's still simping over. Jade then says, I wish you didn't force yourself into my family, which I still think is too nice. Anything short of beating her ass is too nice right now. Mia then wants to know if they blew out the candle, and no one can remember if they did. Despite being told by Cole the solution is to wait it out, Mia wants to go do the hand thing with Riley and blow out the candle one more time. Jade reasonably tells her to fuck off. Then Mia says the dumbest thing ever. "We have to do something, Jade."
Actually, no you don't, you fucking dumbass.
Joss, dumbass 2 over here, gives Mia the hand after that. And dumbass 3, Haley, just says burn the fucking thing. There is no reason to do any of this because Cole just told you all to wait. You should be in Riley's room making sure he can't kill himself while you all wait. Back in the hospital, Mia's dad gets his call to Mia ignored again, and at this point I'm wondering how Mia is even allowed outside without a tracking chip. Sue comes back in an hour, but the hand thing has a 90-second time limit on it, so I don't even know why they bother setting that up. They unstrap one of his hands, Mia holds it to the other hand while saying talk to him, which was never established if it works that way. You can choose to talk to the spirit things, but it was never tried or discussed in the movie if you can get someone else to talk to them against their will. Anyways, they blow out the candle and obviously nothing changes. Mia then wants to talk to Riley through the hand. Daniel says that won't work because he isn't a dead person trapped in limbo. Mia says his body could be disconnected from his spirit or something, and tries it anyway. Even though Jade remembered the rule that it could be some random spirit, and Daniel thinks it's a bad idea, she says, "Riley, talk to me." Like calling out for a specific person negates randomness. Thankfully, this is the only rule we establish for the hand and consistently follow, as a little girl is sitting on the bed looking at Mia. The little girl shows Mia where Riley is by saying, "I let you in," the phrase you normally say to the spirit things to let them possess you. So I guess someone has either gotten to the little girl before, or some other spirit thing told her about this power to suck people into their world by saying the phrase instead? Whatever. It's kinda a hellscape that Riley's in. We don't get to see too much of it. Riley is surrounded by these horrid-looking spirit things that are touching him, and I think some are biting at him. Jade pulls the hand off Mia, getting her out of the hellscape. Daniel goes over to check on the sobbing Mia, who just shouts to not touch her. At this point, a nurse or staff walking by should have heard that and checked in, so we're just getting super lucky that nobody heard her yelled at. Mia tells Jade that they're hurting Riley, and they're not going to stop before she kicks the hand away. She is then back home, and her dad simply wants to talk to her, which is definitely far too nice for a child who has done nothing but ignore you, constantly sneak out, or just fuck off without telling you anything about what's going on. Regardless, he tells Mia that he hasn't been completely honest with her. He says that Mia's mom left something behind for them, and it's been unfair to keep it from Mia this long, because it's hers as much as it is his. Still way too nice to Mia in this scene. For all the shenanigans she's been getting up to and not telling you about, too nice. He reads the letter to her, and it's their mom's game file deletion note. And Mia refuses to believe it, because Mom Spirit told her she didn't. Mia hears scratching and looks in a mirror to see her blurry mom telling her it isn't true. Mia goes to her room to talk to Mom Spirit without the hand, which she doesn't realize, I guess. Because at this point you should know, based on what Cole and Joss told you about Duckett, means you're fucked up. Anywho, Mom Spirit says that Dad is lying and making it up, that it isn't really her dad. Her dad is banging on her door calling for her as Mom tells her it's going to hurt her and she needs to kill Riley to save him. Mom Spirit promises to look after Riley because they'll never let him go. Riley is writhing behind the Mom Spirit as her dad finally breaks in. He looks possessed as he gets Mia to the floor and starts choking her. In reality, her door is locked and her dad is trying to get in as she calls for help. Mia manages to grab a pair of scissors, stabbing her real dad in the neck as he finally gets into her room and goes over to check on her. Because laying on the floor screaming for help is obviously not healthy person activity. Importantly, she pulls them back out of his neck, and blood gushes from the wound before he collapses. The next day, she calls Jade, saying she knows what to do even though Jade says he's getting better. Which proves that Cole was right, and waiting was the solution. Mia baits Jade basically to come to her house, feigning that she has a solution to save Riley from all the pain. She's actually already at the hospital, waiting for Jade to leave. Mia goes up to Riley's room, and Sue catches her looking at Riley. Sue basically apologizes to Mia, saying there were no drugs and Riley just had a breakdown. That it was unfair of her to blame Mia because she would never do anything to hurt him. She finishes this little speech by saying Mia is family, not just a friend. I fucking hate this, because if Jade literally says anything about what happened at the party, shows any of Haley's videos, fucking hangs onto the hand after Mia kicks it away to show her mom it's real, then Sue does get to realize it's Mia's fault, and instead of sitting here glazing her, call the police. And we never get a scene like this for Jade, by the way. Sue being upset with her is never resolved. But we resolve Mia and Sue's drama. Fuck you, movie. Mia sees bite marks on him, getting a moment alone with Riley as Sue walks out. Jade, meanwhile, is waiting at her house for her. Riley has black demon pee, and when Mia looks back at him, she sees presumably the spirit in Riley. Mia wants to know where he is, but she knows where, so this is just her wasting time. And then she stands over the Riley spirit combo meal while screaming with the scissors out. Someone in this hospital should go check that out, especially because Riley is a patient who has tried to permanently delete his game file before. She then doesn't see the spirit thing, but Riley, and puts the scissors down. She hears a kangaroo grunting and dying as she looks to the door and sees one hopping away, trailing blood. Of all the things to actually pay off, you chose the dying kangaroo in the road, which was the least consequential thing in the movie. Oh my god, this movie has over 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way. Jade, back at Mia's house, finds the dad. Somehow still alive. Fuck you. Jade calls her mom instead of an actual ambulance, telling her that Mia's dad needs an ambulance. Ugh. Sue then says Mia is here at the hospital, not at her home, and Jade warns her about Mia as Sue rushes back to an empty patient room. Somehow, Mia got Riley disconnected from all these things, monitoring his vitals, carried him to a wheelchair, and nobody noticed. Jade, getting back to the hospital parking lot, sees Mia wheeling Riley towards the road. There's a gap in this fence, luckily big enough for her to wheel Riley through, so she can bring both of them to an underpass full of traffic. It's just... like, what do you even say at this point? It's so contrived and full of itself. Mia gets Riley right up to the edge as Jade is approaching. Spirit Mom is trying to get Mia to kill Riley, but Spirit Mom says we'll have him forever. Which I guess helps Mia realize all this time she's been getting baited by the fake mom. Instead of going back, telling Jade she's fucked up, and being locked in a padded room forever, she chooses to traumatize the drivers, who are not stopping to check on the wheelchaired individual right next to the extremely dangerous underpass, by the way, and jumps into traffic. Mia gets up from this, but all is rectified eventually. She goes back to the hospital, realizing she's dead only when she finally looks into a reflective surface, seeing that she has no reflection. She looks at her hands, noticing they're fucked to all hell. Riley somehow makes a miracle recovery. which makes no sense. There should be some lasting damage from all the headbanging and reaching into the eye socket, even if he was in recovery for months. But fuck me, I guess. Her dad somehow survives making a recovery and leaves the same hospital. Anyways, Mia, realizing she's dead, is trapped in a black void crying for her dad. A candle lights up the void, and when she approaches it, she sees a hand. She grabs it, putting herself into a room with a guy doing the hand thing with a bunch of people. Maybe she's in Greece? People in the room seem to be talking Greek. And then the guy holding the hand lets her in before she gasps, and we cut away to some retarded rap song.
I saw God in a body bag. I got lost in the stars when they crossed like a polygraph.
Totally killing the tone of the movie, by the way. So, this movie fucking sucks. And let's start with all those things we made a note of. Mia being super into the whole hand thing doesn't even make sense. She probably has the worst experience that we're shown before Riley's. We don't even really know how long or over 90 seconds she goes, just that she happened to go over it since it comes up later. Riley only went 30 over, and some of that has to include the spirit thing damaging him. So Mia going over however much got lucky that she didn't do any damage to herself, and was so lucky that it felt good. She talks about how being a passenger in her body not in control felt amazing, but that wouldn't? Especially because she broke the only rule we really get for the hand, which is to keep it under 90 seconds. Even if it was enjoyable to her, it should have at least been a mixed experience, since Haley says that Mia's experience was the best one yet. Meaning that no one else has had a reaction that extreme to the hand at that point, other than Mia. So if you want her to have one of the most extreme reactions to the hand, you can't also have her enjoy the experience without some type of explanation as to why, which we never really get any. Mia holding the hand when Riley is possessed by not her mom, I guess didn't do anything? Because the only concrete rule given to us is the 90-second rule, so what's the point of showing that to us? It feels like the movie wants to keep it ambiguous what's going on with Mia's mom, but they keep it so vague that they tell us nothing about the hand's rules. Or really about Mia's mom, because that could be her, and she's just insane? But it could be another spirit pretending to be Mia's mom. It just doesn't really make sense how the spirit thing would know to do that. Maybe if they got super unlucky and got a spirit that was in Mia in Riley, so it pretended to be her mom just so it could get more control over Riley. But then why show us the Mia hand-holding thing? Because it's never mentioned. It never gets brought up again. Unless that's supposed to be the reason why Mia's losing it, because the ghost that was in Riley too long somehow passed on to her when she grabbed it? But we'll never know, because the rules for the hand are never explained beyond the 90-second rule. Because vague is scary, I guess. Back to Mia. She is, for some unholy reason, the protagonist. When it feels like Jade should be. Everything in the movie kind of revolves around Jade's family. You could have easily made her boyfriend Daniel want to try the hand and have her get involved that way. Instead, we have our protagonist Mia, who is extremely unlikable. She guilt trips people at multiple points in the movie to get what she wants. She basically has no repercussions from Jade and Sue for what she did to Riley, and is allowed to just get everyone on her side. Like with Cole, she doesn't even try to sympathize with him, as said earlier. All she does is lightly reference a pain that, from Cole's perspective, she doesn't really understand. Her mom died not being controlled and lied to by spirit things, while that's exactly what happened to drive Duckett crazy. She gets Sue's forgiveness for almost killing Riley basically, and we're never shown Jade getting the same type of resolution, even though she deserves it way more, since she made the right decision. She told Riley not to do the hand thing, even though she was a massive dickhead and was undermined by Mia, who nobody should care what she has to say about in that scene. She is not related nor responsible for Riley, but still Joss and Haley are willing to hook Riley up because Mia said it was okay. And Jade just doesn't care? We never see her blow up on Joss and Haley, and she barely does it on Mia after the Cole scene. And Mia also gets away with the sleeping in the same bed as Daniel thing. It's possible that Daniel explained everything to Jade off screen, but that could have been another drama point to isolate Mia. Then we could have better justification for the attempted crazy murder plot against Riley. I guess we also have to chalk up everything going on with Mia coming pretty late, whereas Riley was basically immediately affected because... yup. Mia is just super lucky all the time, and no one can be mad at her long enough for any lasting consequences. Lastly, the spirit thing doohickey stuff. They basically have no rules. They do what we need them to do whenever it's needed. They affect the real world when we need them to, but they're also stuck in limbo hell without a human to possess. And depending on how important you are to the story, they do different things to you for going over the time limit. Mia just sees hallucinations, and her actions while seeing them are what causes damage to people like her dad. But then Riley wants to delete his save file because the spirit thing is still in his body. And according to Cole at least, they want to keep him, but not Mia? Mia basically kills herself while the spirit things are messing with her in some fashion, but they just leave her alone? They don't really do anything with this. She just dies and Riley recovers perfectly, which shouldn't happen based on the damage he was doing to himself, by the way. And Mia wanders around the fake limbo hospital until someone talks with the hand. So the spirit things actually didn't really care then? And what was up with her mom spirit? So she was mentally ill while she was alive and carried all that over to the spirit limbo? Or that wasn't her mom ever because at the end she realizes her mom says we can have Riley forever? Either way, fake or real, Mom Spirit should have come to collect her at the end of the movie. Either for some dumb reunion thing or to drag her to the Hell Zone. The spirits make a point of wanting Riley for some reason, but not Mia when they should want everyone, it seems like. Because more of them only makes them stronger, even if they have to mentally break Mia to make her crazy or something first. And of course, there's a bunch of smaller things that the movie just doesn't ever care to answer. You just have to believe it because...
I mean, it's a contender for best film of the year.
I swear to God, I'll get to him in Penguin Zero in another video about Talk to Me. But he's actually just cartoonishly wrong. Anyways, Haley is a they, I think. Nobody uses any pronouns for Haley except Jade at the beginning of the movie, saying that people are being tricked by them, and Mia has fallen for it. She does it a couple times in that scene, but also no one else uses pronouns ever again for Haley. I personally preferred to call Haley a guy in my script, because that's what Haley looks like. If you want me to call Haley something else, have some effort to have people use the correct pronouns then. Like most things in the movie, it comes up once, if that, and never again. The hand somehow ends up with a bunch of people speaking Greek, so it got to Greece somehow. Jade cartoonishly threw it in the ocean and it washed up on their beaches, I guess. Mia's dad lives, after being stabbed in the neck and gushing blood and passing out. Fuck you, movie. No shot he held a blanket on his neck to save himself all the way until Jade finds him the next day. And if Mia set him up like that, there's no way she would know he would make it. So not calling an ambulance to help him is basically a death sentence. Mia's mental state is something that's never clarified. She's crazy sometimes, but also the spirit things are messing with her, but then she's also an idiot. Cole tells them to wait and Riley will make it out, but Mia wants to go do the hand thing to save him because they have to do something. Which they don't. You're retarded. Crazy sometimes, thinking that her dad would be hiding something from her, and when she finds out what it is, she doesn't believe it. But then the mom spirit says she tried to delete her save file not on purpose? The fuck does that mean? Because she overdosed on some type of sleeping pill. You definitely did not accidentally down an entire bottle instead of taking 2 pills. I'm calling bullshit. This should be the first sign that something is wrong with Mom Spirit, but Mia is getting messed with by the spirits. So she isn't allowed to think about what's going on until the ending. When she figures out what's going on,
with one sentence.
I can't recommend this movie. It's almost as bad as Stalker Shadow of the Zone. I just can't believe that Meat Canyon and Penguin Zero even like the movie. It barely delivers on being a horror movie, and then doesn't know what to do with its story because it won't let anyone learn about the rules of the spirits or the hand. It's pretty awful, and what I have lined up next is looking at Meat Canyon's glazing of the movie and Penguin Zero's follow-up polishing. Because they're both wrong